Let's go. So some more practice footage to go through. Here's Max Johnson. Let's go and throw that back, baby. Max Johnson here with Corey Kiner, just throwing a little wheel route. Good to see Corey Kiner. It is interesting because the number 21 is actually, quote-unquote, retired. And there's actually two LSU players that wear the jersey number 21, Corey Kiner and Jordan Tolles. And the number 21 is retired for the great Jerry Stovall, right? So there is Garrett Nussmeier. Not Garrett that was Garrett Nussmeier. Anyway, I'm a jersey number guy. It was Garrett Nussmeier here to Nick Demas. You gotta love it. This is Matt O'Dowd, the walk-on, throwing here to, I believe, Corin Norman. And obviously, once again, you're just seeing this consistently. Jake Peets working with these LSU running backs and quarterbacks on this connection. This is George Munoz back here, and it's good stuff. So there he is. John Emery catching out of the backfield and dropping it. Okay, this isn't the only practice footage we've seen John Emery drop. And Max had been saying that John Emery's getting better in the pass-catching aspect of things. So here's a good move right here by Jake Peets just to get Emery's confidence up. There he is catching it at its highest point. I love that there from Jake Peets. This is good stuff. Okay, Feezy, not thrilled. Still, though, I hope John Emery actually is getting better catching the football. Here's Ed Orgeron in the background, obviously working with the defensive line. There's Mason Smith in a gold non-contact uniform. Also back there, you see Landon Jackson, I believe. That's who that is right there. So these gold non-contacts, outside of course, the quarterbacks, are just very precautionary things. And I've been getting a lot of comments like this one from Tomcat337 about the gold non-contact uniforms. I have a theory as to why you see more gold non-contact uniforms than you normally would at LSU practices. But let's get back to the practice footage, and I'll tell you my theory at the end of the video. Here is TDP going through the hole right here. And once again, we released some practice footage yesterday. There's Nuss, handed the ball off there to John Emery, once again getting these reps in. And now here we are at tight end. It's Jack Besh getting those reps in along with the offensive line. So once again, just getting all of this down is just very interesting as far as learning how to block as a tight end. It's not easy. Blocking as a tight end, as the Tim Tebow footage, I don't know if you guys saw that, shows you that it's hard to just start blocking if you've never done it before. Here's Marcus Doomerville, 76 right here. Obviously, Austin Deculus at right guard. Let's see who's at right guard. That is, I believe, Anthony Bradford right there. Doomerville, Marlon Martinez right here, and they're obviously, going through this drill. Cole Taylor right there. Getting some work in. Hand off there to Corin Norman. It's the RPO drill we showed you in a practice not too long ago. Now we're here. There he is. Our guy, Jeray Jenkins. Trey Palmer. Alex Adams. Malik Neighbors, number 8. Jeray Jenkins again. Devonta Lee. So, yeah, once again. And this is a man whose stock has improved the most. Brian Thomas Jr. Just a few practices in, and you could just see the talent. Once again, wide receivers working on their blocking here. And, this is the first year that a lot of these true freshman wide receivers are blocking. And it's hard. Trust me, it is really hard to get good at blocking. That's a good rep there from Malik Neighbors. Devonta Lee, a little bit more experienced. Also worked some in the tight end room last year. Lee and Palmer right there. Malik Neighbors. BTJ. Chris Hilton. So once in, just getting these reps in. This is just the individual drills. So obviously you're just getting reps, basically getting yourself warmed up per se for the practice that's ahead of you. Chris Hilton right there. Obviously the over-the-shoulder drill. There's Coy Moore after Alex Adams. Here's Jeray Jenkins. Carter Arsenault, the new walk-on. There's Chris Hilton getting that in. And what this is working on is just, catching out of your blind spot. Obviously, Ed Orgeron going through this. These are the defensive tackles. I would guess Andre Anthony is working with the defensive ends. As you can see, they're in a different part of the drill. And it is interesting to see, once again, we've been talking a lot about Bryce Langston working with the defensive tackles. And obviously, he's playing the role of an interior lineman. Once again, all the gold non-contact uniforms. I'll give you my thoughts on that in a second. That's obviously Jacoby and Guillory. Now Bryce Langston's at center. This is Joseph Evans, and this is Neil Farrell. And obviously, you're going through the different types of blocks you would normally see at practice. So that was a pulling guard right there. And this is this is a good drill because obviously you're working on your reads. So this is obviously zone blocking, and obviously you want to get between these guys. Joseph Evans does a good job of that right there. And you don't want to get washed. This was something LSU struggled with against Alabama. Once again, this was a pulling guard right here. So you notice the right tackle here goes this way. So more than likely in a game, the center would block down. So that's why it's key. If you're going to fire off the ball, you stay in this guy's hip pocket and you roll with this pulling guard. And you don't allow the center to block down on you. So, yeah, it's just very technical, getting your fits right. That's what Ed Orgeron's coaching up right here. This is just good stuff right here from Tiger Detail, some really good footage. And here he is. Work the outside shoulder, sit on this, hold your gap, good swim move over the top. And obviously just working on the technique. And, it's kind of hard for me to see from this angle, but, it's good. Now, obviously, this is you working on your jams. And this is something you don't really, and I'm a big Jeray guy, something you don't really like to see in practice. You want to have your equipment and everything down pat. And this is him fixing his helmet on this rep. And then you could see, he gets hit in the head immediately, and his helmet is still jacked up, and he's fixing it. There you go, Carter Arsenault. Make sure your stuff is put together. There's Mickey Joseph. Brian Thomas Jr. going up against Devonta Lee. Okay, that was a good release right there. Okay, there you go, Jeray. Get yourself another rep. And as you see, this was really violent. I love this. I freaking love this. These are two, just look at this right here. This is really a violent jam, and this is how it is in a game. Sometimes they don't call this. Boom. He hit him right in the head. And then a good job by Jeray, and he hit him back. I freaking love this right here. This is practicing hard, and boom. Look at that. And they're smiling. I love it. I like it when guys get physical in practice like that. And there's Carter Arsenault working, obviously, there with DJ Mangus. Now we get some good running back footage here. Let's see Armani Goodwin goes through this drill. I just love watching him just run. Telling you, his ability to get north and south, you could just see the difference. Okay, Corin Norman going through this drill. Nick Demas. Okay. Good stuff there. So there we go. Now we get a little bit more defensive line drills here. And this is very interesting as well. So Joseph Evans went through the drill as the 3 technique. And now this is Neil Farrell going through the drill as the 1 technique A-gap defensive lineman. So basically being the nose tackle here. Okay? And Joseph Evans, you could just tell he's just looking more slender. Also, Philip Webb is looking more filled out, going into year 2 of his development. It's just so hard to get reps if you're a defensive lineman. Okay? And there you go. That is Jarrell Cherry going through this defensive end drill with Landon Jackson, who is just a massive human being. And there's Savion Jones. Xavier Carter working with the defensive ends. Okay? Now this is good right here. This offensive line drill right here. And this is just working on picking up a twist stunt. Okay? You want to squeeze this down. All right? If you see a twist like this where this defensive tackle is going in and this tackle's supposed to go out, you just want to squeeze it. Okay, there's Cam Wire and Ed Ingram. Obviously, these guys aren't going full speed. You're more so giving them a look. And that's the actual twist. And you see, there you go. It comes down to communication and just getting this right. So this is when the actual twist comes around. All right. This is Xavier Hill coming around and Ed Ingram picking him up. Something LSU struggled with. They could not block twist. And we did that in a Max Johnson film study against Auburn. And Ed Ingram missed the twist. That's obviously something that LSU is going to have to work on. If you want to see that film study, it is linked down below. Here's Devonta Lee. Max Johnson, by the way. We have a huge Max Johnson film study dropping tomorrow. Devonta Lee from Garrett Nussmeier. And there he is, Brian Thomas Jr. So what is the gold non-contact uniform thing? Well, obviously quarterbacks wear them so they don't get hit. But there are more LSU players you see practice with gold non-contact uniforms. They could just be nicked up from the day before, and LSU wants to be very precautionary. And you see more position players just practice with the gold non-contact uniform. So, yes, players just could be injured, but I think LSU does it for this reason. Remember, we did a video on this about a year ago on Tommy Moffitt, always being ahead of the curve, the strength and conditioning coach, and he brought in a technology called perch technology. And what that technology tells LSU is how quickly do they lift weights during weightlifting sessions. Also, LSU, you don't really see them here. And some of the players wear them, some of them don't. But in their conditioning drills, they wear a band around their belly. And what that is actually just a tracking device to see how quickly you actually go through practice and drills and workouts. And that tells you how quickly you lift weights, how fast you run. And that data can tell you as well when players actually need to rest or take it a little bit easier. That could also be a reason why you see so many players change from gold non-contacts to non-gold non-contacts. So, it's just, an out there thing. But understand, LSU looks at that exercise data, and it's kind of the same thing you see in the NBA, where certain players don't play on back-to-backs because they know that they don't want to run those bodies into the ground before the playoffs. It's essentially the same thing that you see here. Once again, that's just a theory. I could be completely wrong on that, but it is interesting. I don't know if LSU has an injury issue. Obviously, we'll see how Derek Stingley is before the season opener against UCLA, and hopefully LSU can overall just be a healthier team next season. Hope you enjoyed this video today. Obviously, there's some more practice footage floating in your face right now. It is Power Hour LSU Bomb. We're doing calzones tonight. Let's go.